welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. This is Chai and Books Girl. Here is my chai. Here are my books. And this is my February reading wrap up. So let's get to it. So I read 17 books in February. And I just want to take half a second and answer a question that has been apparently on some people's minds since my January reading wrap up. Now, for January, I read 27 books, which even for me, that's a lot of books. And I even said that in my reading wrap up. 27 is a lot for me. I don't know why I ended up reading that many books in January. It just happened to be that way. But I do have a full-time job. I work in the IT space. I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, just like millions and millions of other people. So it's not like I'm sitting around every single day for hours and hours and hours just reading books. I do work. When I do have free time, I do prioritize picking up my book or my Kindle and reading, as opposed to picking up my phone and scrolling on social media or turning on the TV and like series watching on Netflix or Hulu or something like that. And that's a choice that I have made with my time. I am not a huge fan of social media. If I am on social media, I'm usually only following other book people, authors, other book lovers, book conventions, things like that. I don't find that being on social media is good for me or my mental well-being. And so for me, I have chosen to spend my free time reading books and not being in social media spaces. That is just a choice that I have made. Personal for me. You do you, boo. So whatever. But just understand that choice allows me to spend more time reading than it might for another person. And so it's not that I'm just like sitting around every single day for hours and hours and hours just reading books, and that's how I'm able to read all these books. I've made a choice in how I spend my time, and I choose to spend it reading instead of like doom scrolling on my phone or what have you. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, just so you understand that I'm not anything special. I'm not some like crazy reader or anything. I'm just a normal reader, just like everybody else. I make a choice in how to spend my downtime. So anyway, okay. All that being said, let's get into February. So like I said, for February, I read 17 books. First up, we have Accelerant by Tara Ellis. This is a procedural / thriller. And Tara Ellis is a new author for me. She actually reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to proofread her book. And I said that I would be more than happy to. And I really, really enjoyed this book. I am not a super procedural girly person. I don't mind a procedural, but it's not necessarily my cup of tea. But I did enjoy this one. So we are following our main character. She is a fire marshal in Washington State, and she has a past. She used to be a firefighter along with her fiance, and things happened. Her fiance was killed. And this ended up being part of a killing spree from a serial arsonist, serial killer. And it has taken her years and years to kind of come to terms with the grief, to come to terms with what happened to her. But she's worked really, really hard. She has done the work, and she has now made it to fire marshal. And so she is ready to put together a team, and she is ready to make her community and her county safe. And of course, as soon as she makes Fire Marshal, the serial arsonist, serial killer appears to have come back. And so she's trying to figure out, is it the same person? Is it a copycat? And why is it connected to me? And it was thrilling. There were twists, there were turns. I kept trying to figure out, what is it, a copycat? Is it the same guy? What does he want from her? And I really found it fascinating because we really get kind of a deeper look into what a fire marshal and what a service community looks like. Like, I know that there's volunteer firefighters and I know there's 911 operators. Like, I know that this is part of my community, but I never realized what they do and the things that they go through and the community that they build within our community. And it was a fascinating look at what these people do and what these people go through and how they deal with the trauma that they see every single day. And I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that she wrote this. I enjoyed the tension and the whodunit aspect of it. And the end, the third act, was thrilling. It was exciting. And I really, really enjoyed this book. So I am giving this a yes, thumbs up, and I would highly recommend. Okay, next we have Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. I have been really excited to read this book. I have heard lots of good things about it. It's kind of been making the rounds on BookTube and Book Talk, and so I was excited to pick this one up this month and to give it a read, and I really enjoyed it. I would give this one a yes. Pick it up. It was really good. We follow our main character, Lottie. In her past, she did some things that we kind of would consider her a killer. Her husband had passed. She obviously was under intense scrutiny by the police and the media, and it was just exhausting. It was very detrimental to her and to her son. And so she moved. She took her son. They changed their names, and they made a fresh start for themselves, so that now in this new life that they have, nobody has associated her with this past that they have. Until one day, her doorbell rings and there is a journalist on her doorstep. And this journalist has connected the dots and wants to do a documentary on Lottie and her past, but she doesn't want to prove that Lottie is a killer. She wants to prove that Lottie is innocent, and she wants to prove that what happened to Lottie's husband was actually an accident and that Lottie is innocent. But Lottie doesn't want anything to do with this. She does not want her past brought up. She is too old. She just wants to be left alone. She wants the past to be left alone. And she tells the journalist, I don't want to be involved in this documentary. I would ask that you please not make this documentary. This journalist is young and she's on this tear for justice, and she just won't leave it alone. So Lottie does what she feels like she needs to do, and the journalist dies. And that opens up this whole can of worms. And it just gets crazy from that moment on. The doorbell just keeps ringing at Lottie's house. And every time the doorbell rings, she's like, oh, why will these people not just leave me alone? And it just keeps going from there. And I would call this book a thriller. Even though we know who the killer is from like page one, we know what's happening, but it's very tense, because each time the doorbell rings, you're like, oh no, oh no, oh Lottie, what are you gonna do? Oh Lottie. And I learned so much from this book. I learned how to dispose of a body many different ways. So it was a learning experience for me, which I thought was great. And then in the end, we find out a couple of things about Lottie's past. We find out a couple of things about Lottie's past that have not been laid to rest and are still coming for her, even in her old age, that she needs to take care of. And it all comes full circle. Her past and her present collide. And in the third act, it's very tense. And I love the way that Samantha Downing wrote it. So this is a yes from me. It was an excellent book, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. All right, next we have Wolf by Paisley Hope. Is it Wolf or is it Wolf E? Ooh, I'm not sure which it is. You can decide for yourself which it is. This is the first in her Soldiers of Bedlam series. So this is about an MC motorcycle gang. And we have Wolf. He is the president of the MC. And then we have our female main character. She is an interior designer, and she has just gotten out of a relationship, a long time relationship that was a bit toxic and not great. But she is dealing with heartbreak, and so she goes back to her hometown. It's kind of a smaller town, and she's living in her grandmother's house, and she wants to fix it up. um, Her best friend from middle school, high school, obviously she's back in her hometown, and so her best friend is there, is actually getting married to the club's second. And so she has a connection through her best friend to the motorcycle club. And so her best friend invites her to the wedding. And so it's through all these series of events that she comes in contact with Wolf. And, they kind of form a relationship. They, get together. And it's kind of one of those books where it's not really enemies to lovers. It's more of, she knows that he's not good for her. She knows that he's not going to be good because he's a bad man, right? He's part of a motorcycle gang, and he does bad things, and he kills people, and he runs drugs, and all of this kind of stuff. And so she knows that he's not a good person, but she can't help but be attracted to him and want him, and feels this connection to him. I'm going to give this a yes. I did enjoy it. Maybe not as much as other books. It was just kind of a good romance story, a good MC romance story. Nothing super exciting, just kind of a generic, it was pretty good. It might not be for everybody if you don't enjoy MC. If you don't enjoy, that type of a romance, then it might not be for you. It does have quite a bit of blood. It does have quite a bit of gore, violence, obviously death. It is an MC. It does have a lot of triggers, so check trigger warnings. But I did enjoy it, even though it was somewhat a, you know, generic, regular MC romance read. Death to Valentine's Day by Catherine Cowles. This one was super cute. It's a little novella. It was part of the Amazon Stories Improbable Meet Cute series. It was so cute. We have Maya. She has broken up with her boyfriend, who is honestly kind of a douche canoe. He just did not treat her right. He's not right in the head. It was, I don't know, the way that Catherine Cowles wrote him, we hated him from the start. We did not like him. And so she's kind of like heartbroken. She's kind of bummed, but she's kind of like F you at the same time. And so she's like having all these feelings. And her two best friends decide that they are going to go to this Death to Valentine's Day party, where it's for like single people who, to hell with Valentine's Day, we hate it. And they want her to come. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. To hell with Valentine's Day. It's not even going to be a thing for me anymore. So they get all dressed up, they go to this party, and it's, all these single people, and they're all raving and drinking, and it's a crazy party. It's also a masquerade party. And so everybody's masked, and so you can't tell who's who. So she grew up next door neighbors with these two boys, ends up becoming the girlfriend of one of them. But we find out that throughout their whole relationship, her boyfriend is a freaking loser and treated her so bad. And anytime she needed something, anytime she called, it was her birthday, anytime, anything, the boyfriend never showed up, but his brother always did. Always remembered her birthday, always remembered like everything. It was always the brother that showed up. Well, the brother is actually like a pro football player. And so she goes to all of his games. She supports him. She's always there for him. And so really, they have a better relationship just by supporting each other, just by being there for each other than, she had with the other brother, even though they're supposed to be, romantically together. Then a murder happens. And now all of a sudden, everybody's a suspect. They're all locked inside this mansion. The police are there trying to find out who done it. And it's this, now all of a sudden we have this mystery. We're trying to find out who murdered this poor woman. And so anyway, we have that now that's going on. And even though it's a novella, she packs in so much thrills. She packs in so much romance. She packs in so much spice. Anyway, it was a fantastic book. This is a yes from me. I read 2 out of the 5 in the series, and they were excellent. So if you get a chance to read any of them, I would recommend. They were really cute, and I think you would enjoy them. Okay, next we have A Dirty Daddy by Samantha Barrett. This is part of her Sinner series, and I am going to give this a maybe. This is not going to be for everybody. Please check your trigger warnings. I said the same thing in January when I read Dirty Priest. Just just check your trigger warnings. These books, don't let the white covers fool you. I know that they're very beautiful, but they're not. There's a lot of dirty things packed in this book, so please be careful. These are dirty. These are really dirty. So this is a maybe from me. I enjoyed it. Not everybody's going to, so just a friendly PSA. All right, next we have Cupid is a Liar by Lexi Davis. This book was super cute. It is a yes from me. I mean, obviously, February, we have Valentine's Day. So a lot of the books that I read had kind of this theme behind it. So if any of these are interesting to you and you want to put them on your TBR for next Valentine's Day, then I would add this one to your TBR. This is a novella. Again, short but super cute. This book was exactly what I wanted from a cute Valentine novella. We have a cute but somewhat naive female main character. She has a crazy cat who is absolutely adorable. Then we have our male main character. He is a straight up stalker but has a heart of gold, and they come together in kind of really crazy circumstances. It's kind of a wild and crazy meet cute. But I mean, whatever. Anyway, it's absolutely hysterical. This thing is a comedy of errors, and you have to read it. It's short, it's super cute, and they get together at the end, and it's absolutely adorable. So this is a yes from me, and I highly recommend for Valentine's Day. Okay, next we have Dead Fake by Vincent Ralph. This is a horror slash thriller book. Somebody is stalking and killing the students of Bleak Haven High. And one of the students, our female main character, whose past is a little bit bleak herself, is trying to stop it. And she's following the clues. And something about this stalker slash serial killer is familiar and has ties to her past and a past serial killer that has ties to her. And so it's kind of this past meets present. And so we kind of go back and forth between the past and the present so that we can kind of get a full picture of what's going on in this town and what's going on with not only the students, but their parents. Because as we're in the past, the parents of the students are students themselves, right? And so we're kind of getting this interesting full story, full picture of how this all plays out. And I really enjoyed this. This was a yes from me because I kept trying to figure out who the killer was. And each time they would go in the past, they would give us little clues, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. It's obviously going to be this person in the present, but then that's not who it would be. And by the time I got to the third act and they finally unmasked who the serial killer was, I was like, what the hell? I never saw that coming. So it was really good. It had thrills, it had chills, and you really were turning the page faster and faster and faster just to try and figure out more clues to try and see who done it. So I recommend this. This is actually I believe he is writing this as a series. And so this is going to be Bleak Haven #1. And then I believe there is a Bleak Haven #2 that's going to be coming out. So I'm excited for that one. Okay, next we have Grave Matter by Karina Hale. I'm going to give this one a maybe. So I listened to this on audio, and I spent a lot of the time confused. Like this is I would consider this kind of a horror book, as its plot in its entirety kind of fleshed out. I would consider this a horror book, because it does have gore, it does have very disturbing imagery in it, and deals a lot with fungi and mushrooms and funguses, and like it's eating things, and anyway, it gets really disturbing. So if like fungi is like disturbing to you, this book is not going to be for you. But it was confusing to me because I think the way that the plot was supposed to be, I think they were trying, like she was trying to write it like the main character had amnesia, but like she didn't come right out and say that the character had amnesia, and so like she was writing it that way, but you kind of had to infer that yourself. And so I kept being confused like half the time I was listening to this. And by the time I got to the end of the story and like everything was finally explained to me, and then I was like, oh, okay, like I understand. And like when it was finally explained and it was like everything was all like laid out for me, like it was like I was a kindergartner, I guess. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I get it now. Then I was like, okay, yeah, everything totally makes sense. But like the whole rest of the time, I was just really confused. So anyway, it's a maybe. I don't know. I probably wouldn't read or listen to this one again because it was really confusing for me. So. Okay, next up we have Crown of Poison by R.L. Perez, third book in the Crowns of Fae series. I got this as a proof copy, as an ARC, and this is a yes from me. Absolutely loved this book. This is her Snow White retelling, but completely twisted on its head. We have Fae, we have a talking fox, a talking, I believe he's a moose. So cute, so funny. But then we have, obviously, we have Snow White, we have an evil queen, we have a hunter. I mean, so we have all of those elements, but again, it's twisted on its head. And I really, really love the way that R.L. Perez does these fairy tale retellings because all of the original elements are there, but she takes them and she twists them just enough so that it's a brand new story. It's almost how you wished the fairy tale was. Like it's got all the beautiful romance, it's got all of the, you know, the beautiful things of the fairy tales, but they're just a little bit edgier, they're just a little bit crazier, they're just a little bit more exciting. And I just absolutely loved this. This is a yes from me. Absolutely recommend. This can be read as a standalone. All of them can be. Um, but if you want to read all of her fairy tale retellings, I would highly recommend doing that. They're all excellent. I understand that she is going to be doing a Kickstarter soon where she's going to omnibus all of her fairy tale retellings. So you may want to look into that. I don't know exactly when that's happening, but it is going to be happening from what I understand. So that's going to be exciting. So this is a yes for me. I do recommend. Okay, next we have In the Blink of an Eye by Joe Callahan. This is the first in the Cat and Lock series. Again, this is a police procedural, and as I have said, I am not a super procedural girly. However, this series has been talked about so much on the socials that I have really wanted to read this series. And even though I am not a procedural girly, the fact that one of the characters, Cat, is a it's not the same in Britain as it is here in America. DCS, I think they call it over in Britain. She's a DCS, and then the other character is an AI. And so the fact that you have human and AI interacting, trying to solve cases, I found that absolutely fascinating. And so I did read this first book. This is the first, like I said, in the series. And everybody just kind of says how amazing that these books are. And I agree. I do enjoy the AI element. I do enjoy how logical the AI starts, but then as it's learning from humans, as it's learning throughout the book, you can see that it's trying to become better, a better AI, a better learner. And I found that to be really interesting and fascinating, the way that he wrote this AI. Um, I did not enjoy the character of Kat. I didn't like her at all. I felt like she was bossy and immovable, and you either did it her way or you get F right off. And I felt like he kind of wrote her as a robot. Do you know what I mean? Like she had no real emotions, she had no real anything. She just kind of was like, we're here to do a job and we're going to do it well. And if you don't like it, then you don't need to be a part of my team and you can just go away and die. So anyway, I don't know. I didn't like her character at all. I didn't find anything to relate to with her. I didn't really like her at all. I honestly felt like she was the robot. And meanwhile, the AI is learning and trying to be more human while paired up with this very stubborn, just not very nice human. So anyway, I don't know. I didn't really I didn't really like that. I did, however, enjoy the very last act, the very last third of the book, because we have a tragedy that happens to Kat, and she finally actually shows a human emotion, and the AI steps in and helps her deal with this tragedy, helps her, solve this mystery, and helps her deal with it. And I did enjoy that part. And so I'm hoping now that we've seen actual human emotion from Kat, that the second book will be much better. That she has, I don't know, maybe learned some humility, maybe learned how to be a freaking human. I don't know. And that the second book will be a much better interaction, not only between her and the AI, but her and other people, that she can learn how to be a nicer person. I don't know. So I am going to read the second book in the series, and we'll see how it goes. I did enjoy his writing. He has a really good writing style. There's a lot of fast-paced action. There's a lot of really good thrills. There's a lot of good, oh, who done it? What's going on? Oh my gosh! Like the plot itself is really good. I just didn't enjoy the way that he wrote Cat. So there's that. I don't know what to tell you. You can try it for yourself. But there's my honest opinion about it. All right, next we have Oops, I Summoned a Metamorphic Monster by Opal Rain. And did this one have a plot? I mean, kind of. This is mostly just about this cute little witch who decides that she's horny and needs to summon something to help. And so she does. And that's basically what the book's about. And I mean, was there a plot? I'm going to give this one a maybe, just in case, you need a PWP in your life. And yeah. All right, next we have Sinner's Retreat by Lauren Beale. This is the first book in her Slycation series. This is a yes from me. Please read this. This is so good. Now, I have met Lauren Beale on a couple of occasions. I have met her at several book conventions, and she is the most soft spoken, just cutest, most adorable human being. And you would never think that someone like that could write something like this. This book is absolutely hysterical. Lauren Beale is so creative, and she is so messed up. It's so crazy. So this is about two serial killers, and they are on their way to Sinner's Retreat. Sinner's Retreat is a getaway, a vacation spot that happens once a year for serial killers, because even serial killers need vacation. And so they are on their way to this remote island for their vacation, and they meet up and they have a one night stand, and they really hit it off, and they don't know who the other one is. And then they get to Sinner's Retreat and realize, oh my gosh, you're a serial killer, and oh my gosh, this is great because we really hit it off, and I feel like we have so much in common. And anyway, so they are now at this retreat together, and in the process of kind of getting to know each other, our male main character Ezra finds out that the female main character Kendra is trying to find her brother's murderer. And so that is her primary goal of coming to Sinner's Retreat, is to see if she can find the serial killer who killed her brother. Well, guess who it is? Yes, it's Ezra. And he spends most of his time trying to hide his real identity so that Kendra doesn't find out, because he's falling in love with her. And it's absolutely hysterical, but at the same time, it's so messed up and it's so macabre, and I adored this book. I gave this book 5 stars because I laughed out loud. I had so much fun with this book. And just a PSA, just for those of you that care, this book is dedicated to the humble pineapple, and you will never look at a pineapple the same way again after you read this book. So just be forewarned about that. But this is a yes from me. I totally, totally love this book. This was so much fun. Next, we have No Service by Krista Turner Clark. This is a no. This is a double no. This is a big fat NO from me. So I grabbed this book on a recommendation from someone on social media. This was supposed to be kind of a horror erotica book, which I totally love. Totally love that type of thing, where we've got maybe a serial killer who falls in love, or a stalker masked man, like chases someone through the woods, catches them, does things, and so like I like that kind of stuff. That's not what this was. No, it was not. So let me just kind of give you a basic gist of what's happening here, and then I'm not going to give you any more because this was an absolutely depraved, horrible, I wish I could scoop this book out of my brain with a melon baller book. We have a couple, great couple, cute couple. They're in their 30s. They've been married, I think, almost 10 years, and they're adorable together. And they decide that they're going to go camping. They meet another group of campers who are camping just a couple more miles away, and they happen to have an RV. They're college aged, and they are out camping as well. And they're a little bit strange. They are, as college kids do, they're drinking, they're doing drugs. And so they invite this couple to come and, have a barbecue with us, or, come and play horseshoes, or anyway, being camper friendly. And so this couple decide to go ahead. They're going to, be friendly and make friends. And so they do. And they spend a couple of days, having barbecues and standing around the campfire and just making friends, as you do, if anyone has ever been camping. And then the book takes just a terrible, terrible turn. So these college-aged RV campers, we find out, are cannibals. And they go around to different areas and they find other campers and they kill them and they eat them. And that is what they do. And I'm just going to leave it at that because you don't need to know the rest, but just know that that's, anyway. If I could give this a negative star rating, I totally would. I wish I had never read this book. This book was so terrible. I wish I could just bleach my head and have it taken out. It was not a horror erotica. It was just horrible. Yeah, don't read this book. Don't do this to yourself. It was really bad. It was really awful. So yeah, this one's a no from me. Next we have Disassembled Creatures by Albany Walker. This is about a group of girls who use a Ouija board to summon a ghost, and the ghost becomes obsessed with one of the girls, and things get crazy from there. So this is a maybe. Some people, it might not be for them. I think I gave this a 3-star. It was okay. I don't know that I would read it again though, but it was okay. Maybe for like a Halloween story. It's kind of one of those kind of spooky Ouija board type spooky Halloween books. So maybe for Halloween I might read it again. But next we have The Ritual by Chantel Tessier. So this is the first in her Lord series. I listened to this on audio. I highly recommend you listen to this on audio because again, we have the most amazing Aiden Snow, who is doing the voice of Riot. And God bless Aiden Snow. I would listen to Aiden Snow read just about anything because he's amazing. Let me just sit here and ponder that for a minute. Anyway, so yes, this is a yes from me. I don't, everybody always goes crazy about the Lord series. It was okay. Like, I will be reading the next book, but I have to tell you that I would not give this a 5-star. I would probably give this a 4-star. I think I did give it a 4-star or 3.75 or something like that. I loved Riot as a character. I loved it. Yeah, Blakely absolutely did not like her as a character, did not like her pretty much anything about her. So anyway, I'm hoping this next book has a much better female main character because I did not like anything about Blakely. But again, everybody knows the Lord series by Chantel Tessier, so you can take that how you will. So I'm going to give this one a yes because I think I'm probably the only one of billions of people who haven't read this one yet. But if you have not, if you still need to read this series, I would highly recommend the audio for this one. And last, we have As Far As She Knew by Diana Awad. No relation to Mona Awad, who wrote Bunny. This is a completely different author. So this is actually a proof copy that I got from the publisher. This has not been released yet. This is a thriller. And I actually really, really enjoyed this book. So this is about a woman whose husband has died and finds out that nothing is what she thought it was. She and her husband are both of Arab Muslim descent and culture. And I I don't know a lot about this culture or the society, and so it was very interesting to see how that played into not only the mystery, but also how it plays into their how they think about things and how things in their culture work. And so I found that very interesting. I learned a lot. Um, but anyway, this is just one of those kind of domestic thrillers where it's you're married for 27 years, and then he's gone, and nothing is what you thought it was. You don't know if he's lied to you your whole life. You don't know what is going on, and so she has to spend so much time trying to find out what is going on beneath the surface and who this man really was and what is going on. And all these people are coming out of the woodwork that she never even knew existed, and trying to correlate the man that she knew with the man that everybody else knew. And anyway, it's very tense, and you feel so much with this character, with this main character, as she not only grieves for her husband, but then she's so angry at him, and she's just the lies and all the things that are happening. And then finally at the end, you feel her closure, and you feel the finally, I can close this chapter of my life. And anyway, I absolutely love this book. It was fantastic. Once you start it, you just keep turning it's just so tension filled, and you just want to keep turning the page to find out what's coming next, and what else is she going to learn. And it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend reading this book if you enjoy thrillers, if you enjoy that type of a book. I think this book comes out at the end of April, and so be on the lookout for it, because it was a really good one. So this was a yes for me. Okay, those were my books from February, and hopefully you found a couple that you could put on your TBR list and found a few that you would enjoy reading. So until next time, bye.